Talk is cheap, right? Isn't that what everybody says? Okay, I am here to completely bust that whole myth apart and to call bullshit, because it is. Just to prove to you that it's BS. I'm going to use 4 talks that completely changed the world and will help you understand why your presentations are putting people to sleep, while that influencer that you hate to love or love to hate constantly has your attention, and you don't even know where your life is anymore because you're living on your screen all the time. If that person shows up, you're on the phone. Are you ready? Because talk is about to get very, very beautifully expensive. Do you remember how dramatic January 6th was on 2021? Because I know 2025 has been coming at us from jump with just wildness everywhere. Sometimes it's hard for us to remember. January 6th, 2021, if you were in the United States, like it was giving ground zero, okay? It was just that stakes were so high. And the thing that happened immediately after, once the election was over, all of the votes had been counted, and now we're standing in front of this huge audience that's there to elect the very first Black and Indian woman vice president, Kamala Harris, as well as President Joe Biden. Do you remember this young, bright beam of light wearing all yellow, right? And she takes the stage. She's nothing but 23 years old. In like math, like human math, and also in just like math, yo, that's called you are a baby, 23 years old. And this baby takes the stage, and she is charged with uniting the country essentially through poetry. Not a joke, it's a real thing that happened. Amanda Gorman stood on that lectern and she gave one of the most powerful, I have goosebumps on my body just remembering how powerful her words were, how centered she was and grounded in what she had to say, and how she completely changed the air and the stratosphere of what had just immediately happened in the nation's capital, right? This was the site of a failed coup d'etat, and here is this young, brilliant woman speaking healing, speaking love, and speaking light, and doing the thing against destruction that only light can do. Making it not only go away, but making it become like putting it in its place, essentially. She put darkness in its place in that moment and said, there is no space for you here today. Do you see this bright, beautiful yellow that I am wearing? I am light, I am truth, and I'm standing in that truth. She completely changed the course of that particular presidency because she began it in the light of love, right? In a word that was affirming and inclusive, bringing everybody in. So if somebody ever told you like words don't like mean anything and it's just all, like talk is cheap, you need to go and listen to Amanda Gorman's poem and understand the power of words when they're spoken with intention. She wasn't the youngest person who has ever spoken words that have completely rocked our entire planet. I'm thinking about Greta Thunberg when she was all of 16 years old. 16 years old, I can't even remember. What was I doing when I was 16 years old? I was not standing at the United Nations and addressing a room full of the top diplomats, top presidents, top fuddy-duddies from all over the world. And this young 16-year-old woman stands up, and her speech essentially asks them, how dare you? Like, how dare you forget that this planet is something that you are holding in stewardship for my generation, her generation, and generations that come afterwards. That moment, it catalyzed a huge youth climate movement that is ongoing today. The people at the front of climate justice, they are Gen Z. They are kids kids who are 16 years old, who are 20, 23 years old, and they know things that the fuddy-duddies apparently need to be studying from the 16-year-olds, all from the power of a speech. Now, if you don't know this next talk that I'm going to talk about, it's not only that you definitely know it, but it's also the thing of like, it's so mind trippy that you could win an entire presidential campaign based on the power of words alone. But that's exactly what this candidate did in 2004 when this young junior senator with a very different or weird, right, depending on which newscaster you're listening to, he takes the stage and he has the audacity of hope. And that talk that he gave, the audacity of hope at the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, that pretty much sealed the deal for President Barack Obama's presidential race that he then won in 2008. So again, this whole thing of like, talk is cheap. Okay, cool, talk is cheap, except when it wins you a whole presidential race. Check the facts. The speech that I think is one of the most powerful that's ever been spoken on Turtle Island, these United States of America, is a speech that was given in 1970, and actually it was silenced, it was canned. It never got to be aired the way that it was intentioned to be, right? What am I talking about? In 1970, it was a huge celebration of the centennial, or one of the big anniversaries of the landing of, I'm even blanking because I'm like, what really was there to celebrate? The Pilgrims arriving in America. And that happened in 1620, if I'm not mistaken. So in 1970, they wanted to make a really big stink about how amazing it was. And the governor at the time of Massachusetts reached out to the leader of Wampanoag people, Native American people in Massachusetts. This young man's name, he wasn't so young, but still, bear with me. This man's name was Wamsuta James, and they asked him, hey, can you come through and say some really nice things? We're gonna have this dinner. Can you say some nice things about Native American cooperation and Thanksgiving and make us feel good and everything? And he was like, okay, you're celebrating Thanksgiving. You want me to talk? Bet. Goes home, writes this speech that just told all kinds of truth, right? About all of the lies, all of the treaties that were broken, about the genocide, about the ongoing ways that the government itself, the Massachusetts government and the federal government, was oppressing Native American people, and how much of a lie Thanksgiving itself was. And the organizers of this dinner go back to Wamsuta and they're like, actually, we need to see your remarks before you step on stage. He shares them, they look at them, and they're like, where's the nice things about Thanksgiving in here? And they essentially canned his entire conversation. They decided, unless you change what's in this talk, you're not giving the talk. But the power of words, and the power of words that are spoken with truth and with intention, is that you cannot can them. That speech reinvigorated the Native American resistance movement, which had been alive as long as white people and white supremacist ideas were tamping down on and oppressing Native American people. That's been real as long as those first white people arrived to Turtle Island. So it reinvigorated something that was already happening, but it also made people question Thanksgiving in a way that reverberates to today. The holiday of Thanksgiving, even though it is centered around these beautiful tenets of family, of gathering, of warmth, of so-called Thanksgiving, the undergirding of it, which is pretending that Native Americans went along with their own colonization, right? Pretending that lands were seized that were actually stolen, Those two things, it's on purpose that that Thanksgiving sits on top of something so heinous, because how else could you sugarcoat it? It's essentially like, let's make this look pretty. We are still uncomfortable with how do we reckon with Thanksgiving. And I think for most people, even when they're gathered around the table, that speech in 1970 is something that animates how we gather. Even if we do gather, how do we do it in a way where we're telling the truth, right? That like we're choosing to be here and to break bread, but let's also tell the truth about what actually happened, right? Two things can be true at one time. I've just broken down 4 different speeches that have completely changed the course of history and the world as we know it. And if you're looking at me sideways, because you're like, that's real cute and everything, because you're talking about politicians and activists, that's nice. I don't see what that has to do with me. Let me tell you something. The number of times you have been completely usurped your attention because somebody had a powerful signature speech, which is what those 4 talks actually are about. The number of times that happens to you on a day-to-day and you're not necessarily even aware is crazy. That Instagram influencer who always has your attention because their hooks are so sharp, well, that sharpness and everything that comes after what the sharp hook is, that is part of their signature story and how they deliver it. That person in the meeting who just mansplained the thing that you had to say, that is because they understand their signature story and how to manipulate even good things that you have to say to make them look good through signature storytelling. Do you see what I'm saying? That person who you think is giving a speech that you're not so sure about at the conference that you just most recently went to, and you're rolling your eyes, the difference between them and you is they actually have a signature story that they could put in front of the conference organizers, and they got on the stage and you didn't. Do you see what I'm saying? This stuff, it shows up every single day in our lives. And unless you understand, number 1, what is a signature story? Number 2, what is a hook that an influencer is using to steal my attention away from my child, from my family, and from my work? Unless you understand that and you're using it in your work yourself, in how you tell your stories, in how you pitch yourself, in how you even sometimes relate in private moments, unless you understand the power of that, then you're gonna keep thinking that number 1, talk is cheap, and number 2, you're gonna keep thinking that speeches and talks are things that only activists and politicians do. Meanwhile, your competition is studying signature stories and they're getting the paycheck to speak at that conference and you're not. If you're curious about what I'm talking about and you want to go a little bit deeper, I have a newsletter where I have broken down, I'm giving away things, honestly, that I speak with my coaching clients to, where I take apart their particular brand messaging and we put it into signature stories. So if you're interested in, number 1, what is a signature story, right? How do you begin crafting a signature story? I highly recommend you check out the newsletter. All of the links are in show notes and I will send it to you in your inbox so you can begin right now. Number 1, being able to resist that Instagram influencer who has all of your attention. Or maybe you don't want to resist her. Don't let me tell you what to do. And number 2, and this is the part that's most important, how do you take what is powerful about a signature story, one that has the potential to win a presidential election? Hello, don't you want to put that into your deck? I want you to take the magic of what those signature stories have in common and put it into the work that you do every single day communicating as a leader so that you can really rock out. Because let me tell you something, the reason why I do this is because of you, right? The reason why I do this is because for me, I want to see voices of women of color, founders, leaders, coaches, and badasses completely dominating the destruction narratives that we hear overpowering the public square. So I'm putting you on game. I hope that you use this, and I'd also love to know in comments. What is it a surprising time and place where you have seen somebody use talk in a way that's like, that talk, that is not cheap. This person, they just got like something wild out of this business that just came flowing out of their mouth. Where have you seen words used in a way where you're like, nah, talk is not cheap. Talk is expensive. I want to know in comments.
Hey, pull up. Just you and me for a second. Are you an exec, a founder, or an entrepreneur who's sick of shrinking in rooms you're overqualified to lead? It's time to stop playing small and start owning your expertise. But how, Machochodi? Girl, I got you. I offer coaching that helps women of color just like you to claim your place as a thought leader. Whether you want to command a room, craft and share your signature story, or finally get that book out of your head and onto bookshelves, I've got the strategy and spicy accountability that you need. If you're tired of seeing less qualified folks shine while you stay behind the scenes, girl, the wait list is open. Follow the link in show notes to stop waiting for permission and claim your VIP spot now. My mission? Helping women just like you to snatch the spotlight, shake the table, and take your damn seat at the top already. No begging, no detours, and nope, no apologies. Just bold ass moves.